This is Politics with Laura, and I got an interesting one for you today. Look, okay, I don't know if you saw my short or not, but my short talked about Clarence Thomas and affirmative action. Now, some people, well, Clarence Thomas, and I was only interested in what he had to say because I don't know if you know it or not. I looked in his background, and he's an establishment man. He took the place of Thurgood Marshall, who was an activist who fought for the rights for black people or black Americans that suffered severe discrimination. Now, look, I'm not talking about any other group. I'm just talking about black Americans because the 14th Amendment, that is what it was for. To make equal. And also some other things, but basically to make equal. Not mess with everything. Here. Now, when it says all persons born and established in the United States or naturalized in the United States, because at that time, Black Americans were not even considered human beings. Just look at the writings. And it gave us naturalized citizenship to bring us in to the United States, to give us citizenship. Even though we were here, and even though we were here, we did not have the right to vote, which Clarence Thomas is trying to gut. I don't know who he works for. Truly, I don't know. But I know one thing. He doesn't work for the United States of America. I think he still works for Monsanto's. My programs are together. So, okay, subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. So that right there was right there the 14th Amendment. So they use this 14th Amendment to give take this off. To give Black Americans that have gone through the severe discrimination, the injustices, it goes on and on. Matter of fact, the article, hopefully we'll get into it. To end and to correct the effects of discrimination through jobs, through education, through housing, and the different institutions of the United States, to end that. And also in the private section as well. So when the Chinese students felt discriminated against because of the affirmative action, and they didn't even consider, and this is the interesting part, they didn't consider the other Chinese students coming after them because they're talking about take away race. Well, we're in a country, and some may get pissed off, and that's all right. You can get pissed off. But what I'm saying, it doesn't mean what I'm saying is not true. There is an uproar about Ariel, my little the Little Mermaid, being played by a black girl. Now, Little Mermaid, Ariel, is a fictional character, not real, but they're screaming, she's white. You can't make this sugar honey iced tea up. You can't. But I don't want to go too far off the track. So the Chinese students said, well, we're being discriminated against because of race. I found it quite interesting because that was some of the not requirements, but the Chinese students were able to get into some schools due to them having color. So they went and fought to get that part taken out. Now, I can't remember the guy's name that helped them with this. A white guy helped them with this, and I wonder what his agenda was. to stir them in that way. And there were other Chinese people telling them, don't do it. Don't do it. But they did it anyway. So now we're here. We're here. Oh man. They don't know. They have no idea what they did. They have no clue. All right. So the Supreme Court rules affirmative action must end in college admissions. What they're not saying, and this is what they don't understand. Affirmative action goes beyond college admissions because they took race out. This goes across the board. Like I said, they don't understand what they did. They cut off their nose in spite of their face. They took race out. You're going to see a whole lot of different stuff going on here. And they're going to be having gnashing of the teeth. Watch. Just watch. But let me go back to the article. Now I found it. Let me take this out. Now here, the U.S. Okay, that right there is already been established. But the courts on Thursday specifically ruled against the race-conscious student admission program, Harvard and the University of North Carolina. Just those two schools. Very interesting. Those two schools. No other school but those two schools. But what will happen is a lot of HBCUs are going to be filled up. That is what's going to happen. Watch. Okay. Those programs violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the 6-3 majority ruling. The 6 justices who said, get rid of it, and the 3 who were for it, keep affirmative action, 6 were against it. The students for fair admissions versus the president fellow of Harvard. Now, the couple of the Justice Sotomayor and Kagan and Jackson dissented in both cases, which means they voted for. Now, who was it? Dozens of the major corporations across various industries took an interest in the case, including Apple, Google, GOG-L, I guess it's Google, GM. And what they're saying is, hey, we make money. We make money. You're messing with the money. If these students are not coming here, we're not getting money. So for the corporations, they don't care about if it's going to black students or other students don't have to worry about discrimination. They only care about that money. So if students are going there, then they make money. Now with this taken out, it's going to be quite interesting how things are going to go. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch. Clarence Thomas, jurist Clarence Thomas, you work for the establishment. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the average person will call you an Uncle Ruckus or Steven on Django. Oh man, I cracked myself up. Okay, but this is the part that I really want to focus on. Where is it at? Oh, here. Okay. Here's the guy's name. The group, led by conservative activist Edward Bloom, claimed that the UNC's consideration of race violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Now, you already saw what the 14th Amendment was about. It was about citizenship. It didn't violate. Let's go back and look again. Here. It did not violate race, because here it says, shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, and property? It had nothing to do and deny any person within the jurisdiction of equal protection of law. It didn't deny. Wait a minute. Let me think about that. They used the 14th Amendment to put in affirmative action to give Black Americans, and then it included, it was for Black Americans, but then it included to add naturalized citizens, naturalized people to be citizens through immigration. Okay, I'm going to think about that a little bit more before I go any further on that thought. Interesting. Okay, protection. Okay, the government entities and public and private university discriminating based on race. Okay, where is Clarence Thomas? Okay, the former Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, who penned majority opinion in Gunther, predicted that in 25 years, affirmative action would no longer be necessary with colleges and more diverse. You know, Justice O'Connor, I do respect you, but I don't know. 25 years, 25 years, people went crazy in this country when James Bond was going to be played by Idris Elba. They went crazy into that. Only white people can play that. So, ah, okay. I have great respect for you, but okay. Concurring with the majority, the Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that under the 14th Amendment, the color of a person's skin is irrelevant to the individual's equal status of citizenship in nation. I have to say, I was quite interested. I was quite taken back by Katanji's response, because I very seldomly agree with very little that she says, because normally that's my personal thought. But, and I'm going to keep that to myself. So here, this is what she said. But she surprised me. She said, in a dissenting opinion, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote, deeming race irrelevant in law does not make it irrelevant in reality. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have to say, affirmative action was, and I think still is, greatly needed in this country, because there still is discrimination going on. It is. We may not want to believe it, but there is discrimination. There is. I'm trying not to, and I'm failing miserably, not to put my opinion into it. I put nothing but my opinion into it. But I say, and I'm going to say this here now, due to affirmative action being struck down, there is going to be a whole lot of different stuff going on here. Not different stuff, but you're going to see things are going to change greatly. And I don't think for the positive. I don't think so. I think it's going to get a little bit bumpy. But on that note, tell me what you think. Oh, wait a minute. All right, I want